Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. Any kind of updates and such, usually I go about on Twitter X platform. And I will try to get another episode of Midnight Suns later. I'm not sure if I mentioned that yesterday, but I did manage to publish it. Just a quick reminder that I already have some completed gameplay series. If you want to check them out, I usually recommend them to check sometimes the first episode when the game is on sale and I already played it and I do a recommendation. I usually refer to this playlist here to see for yourself at least the first episode so you have an idea when there isn't a demo on the Steam page or GOG game page there. But yeah. Just a quick update also, I did manage now to this morning to download Monster Hunter's Wilds beta. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stream a little bit here because it's going to be my first entry on the game on this IP. I'm very curious to try it out. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stream it or even play it by myself. I'm not sure, depending on the schedule throughout these next 2 to 3 days. I think I'm not sure. I think it's a couple of days at least on the beta sign up. But yeah, I will try my best. If I manage to jump in, please be aware that I will do it on Twitter X, and I'm going to be live on the usual stuff, which is at this moment YouTube, trying to stream it at 4K the best I can, hopefully. But yeah, probably I will not be able to get a warning with some. I think it's going to be when I can, and I know I have like 2 or 3 hours. I will probably try to stream it and go over the character creation and all that, just see how it is. But yeah, and that, let's go for some news. I got a lot of gaming news here. I think today or tomorrow, I think it's today, Thursday at my time, it will be the launch of Dragon Age Veilguard. I saw yesterday a video on YouTube, no, on Twitter from Grumps, the one that pushing a bard or something like that, which is like a formal apology for misgendering characters in game, which by itself it's insane. But yeah, and I think EA was trying to DMCA that footage there. But yeah, this game is cooked, to say the least. It's not going to be a good game. But we got some Andrew Wilson quotes, which is the CEO of EA. Yeah, this comes from quarter two 2025 earnings call. Again, interesting. Again, depend on the fiscal year of the country where they are there. But yeah, one of the things that he mentioned is been 10 years since they launched the predecessor, which is Game of the Year winner, Dragon Age Inquisition. Again, he focused a lot here on the last game here to try and hype up this one. Again, comes here, the early critic scores are stronger and reflect the high quality, depth, and detail in this year's action-packed adventure. Again, the early critic scores, we already covered that. It seems that, again, BioWare just distributed review codes to more susceptible persons that are going to give a higher score than that. So that's why we are seeing what they call critic scores being strong, and then they take advantage of that to say it reflects the high quality, depth, and detail. Blah, 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 blah. They say they expect Dragon Age to be a great example of how our blockbuster storytelling engages and connects with fans in true unique ways. Yeah, that's for sure. It will connect in truly unique ways if it is a connection at all. But yeah, at least from what we've been seeing here, leaking out here and there. There is also, they think they have a breakout potential. Yeah, it has either way of being a dumpster fire or sell enough to make his money's worth there from the development and marketing budget there. But I think it's going for a more dumpster fire kind of a sales there. But we will have to wait and see. While much of our business have moved to live service, again, this is one of the long-term strategies from EA is putting everything on live service. Got the biggest failure so far, which is not Phantom. Oh my god, the one that has like the mecha stuff there. I completely forgot the name of that game. It's so remarkable that I even forgot that. I remember before starting the video, but yeah, that game. Um, from BioWare also. Yeah, that game was from BioWare. I really wanted to remind myself of that name. Oh my god, it's just a one word game. I don't remember. Sorry about that. And then this opportunity to bring its incredible high quality creative storytelling, which is not being their forte in the last games that they've been launching. Yeah, again, he goes about in a lot of corporate talk, and then afterwards he basically the last paragraph is, we have a team that took extra time to make sure the world was rich and the characters were interesting and the story was compelling. I think neither of these for the overall audience of customers to buy this game. I don't think this will bring any kind of meaning what he's saying here. And he continues, I think we're going into a market that is limited competition for this category of game, given some of the moves that have happened across the broader industry. Again, I think he's referring here to the live service stuff there, not in single player games. Uh, some of them, supposedly Dragon Age, supposedly is a story driven RPG. We got a lot of those. We got Baldur's Gate 3 has already came out. But yeah, on the market, supposedly the supposed competition didn't exist, and the fact that for the game itself, at least from what we've been seeing, there is no competition for this. There is no more, I don't know, lack of better terms, no more woke game will be launching in this couple next months. So it is what it is. And again, he refers again to the critical reviews have been incredibly strong. Again, with the shenanigans that they did recently with the review codes there. Again, and he refers here with the breakout capabilities of the sales of this game, which I don't think it will refer to that. I don't think it's going to happen on this game. I think it's going to be a dumpster fire. The user review scores of the people that will buy the game, it will be a shit show. It's going to be something like we've been seeing the last couple of years with, for example, Rotten Tomatoes scores and viewer scores. When the broad customer base that watches a movie that enjoys, usually Rotten Tomatoes is in complete opposite ways, given positive or negative. I think we're going to start seeing a little bit of trend. We already saw this, but this will reflect again the fact that a lot of critics, they are more positive on the side to maintain, sorry, the access media that they are having there. And I will have to assume also some paid reviews in some instances. We got that from the Gamer Award show, that thing that was uncovered. I forgot to cover that. I should have tried to cover that, but yeah, it's one of those stories that I get out of the loop of. But yeah, there's been some, let's say, proofs or at least indications or indicators that some of these outlets or reviewers, being company or not, to a certain degree, they have packages which infers that they do positive coverage of stuff, and I will assume positive reviews of certain games that are not being received or don't have a good feedback before or after launch, and they have tried to massage that with some paid access to a certain degree to have a more positive coverage of that game in specific. And I will have to assume that Dragon Age is one of those examples, even though, again, we don't have inside knowledge, but the overall message seems to indicate that this might happen here. But yeah, I also watched this tweet from Hideo Kojima. He's been usually says he's building the game. I think it's kind of a mistranslation, or the most accurate translation that it can be get from Japanese to English. I think it's not building the game. I think the building is trying to put everything together. I think building in the sense of building a Lego set to a certain degree. He's got a lot of big set pieces and he's trying to fit them together to his more liking. And we got a teaser here from the main screen. Supposedly, we might get there. It is here a little bit. It's not highlighted, which is recap Death Stranding. So people that might want to jump in Death Stranding 2, they might not feel afraid of have to play for Death Stranding 1, and they have basically a story recap with the highlights and the most important things from the story there, and then jump on with Death Stranding 2. Missing some footage in there, some teasers from Hideo Kojima. Good to see that the guy is doing his work on his own IP. I'm again, it's been difficult for me to play in games. Death Stranding is one of those games that I really want to continue. I'm assuming I'm in the first third of the story, uh, and yeah, I enjoyed so far, but I want to know more about the concepts that he tries to translate on the game there. But yeah, everything seems to be on a smooth path here for next year launch of the game. But yeah, it's good to see that this might be our main menu. Again, it's just a placeholder for now, and he's teasing us a little bit here and there, which is always good to see. Then we got here more stuff regarding Insomniac Studio stuff, which Insomniac, I think it's Insomniac, is making Marvel's Wolverine, which by itself has already a lot of bad pre-information, let's say, because there is no official information. The only one that we have is the game is in development, and I think we had a teaser, which was very short CGI, so we didn't have any kind of a lot of stuff to work with. But there's been some rumors and leaks. This is going to be a shit show of a game, and similarly, there was a switcheroo in the higher up positions between Marvel's Wolverine. Creative director, he moved on to Perfect Dark, which by itself it's building up to be I don't know. We only saw that video that came out from a show. I completely forgot which one. The footage itself of the gameplay seemed interesting enough, but then again, we got the issue that has been a recurring theme with very masculine females, which it's not even part of the character design of the earlier games. That's my the idea that I got. I never played the Perfect Dark, but yeah, it's a little bit finicky here. I'm not sure my final pronunciation regarding Perfect Dark reboot, but the gameplay seemed interesting. Uh, it's the only thing that I can say about that. But interestingly enough, this guy, which is the creative director Brian Horton, he jumped on to a Perfect Dark reboot, which supposedly it will bring a wealth of experience of the upcoming game there from Brian Horton. To replace Marcus Smith as a creative director, which one of the SEE representative confirmed. Then we got also Mike Daly will also serve as a game director in place of the previous director from Marvel's Wolverine, which is interesting. A lot of higher up changes. I don't know what they're trying to do here. But yeah, just a quick recap. Marcus Smith, which is now the creative director of Marvel Wolverine, he worked on the Spider-Man stuff, Ratchet and Clank, and same thing for Mike Daly as a lead designer for basically the Spider-Man games and also for Ratchet and Clank. The same thing. They work together already. The changes of Marvel's Wolverine development team supposedly are a result of creative decisions around the game. Again, from the rumors and leaks before this change was that supposedly this game is going to be, I don't know why, very female centric and empowerment. Again, all of this shit that we've been seeing, I'm not sure if we're trying to take a step back, given that Spider-Man and I think also Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, they seem pretty good games. Never played them. I think there is some discussion regarding Marvel Spider-Man 2 in terms of quality and what they were trying to do there. But hopefully, Marvel's Wolverine is in the process of development that they can tweak around and change overall stuff that were indicating that the game was not being good. I don't know. The same thing for a Perfect Dark reboot. I'm not sure how this guy Horton is going to influence and bring something good or bad to the game itself. We have to wait a little bit more until we are a little bit closer to the release, so we have a better idea of the main staples of what these two games are going to be. And then we're going to finalize here with Ubisoft. Again, a lot of stuff coming out of Ubisoft. There was a earnings call, if not mistaken. And again, Yves Guillemot, again, avoiding to answer any kind of questions directly. Um, Even though we know that in this case Star Wars Outlaws underperformed in terms of sales expectation, we only saw that it sold 1 million copies in the first month, give or take, which a lot of people were touting was an excellent number, which it isn't. At the time when I covered this, the 1 million sales, even if you put it at the base, at the top end of the game, which is, I don't know, 120 bucks, it equates to 1 million copies, 120. So it's basically around $120 million, give or take, which is not that much, given that the game cost almost $500 million to a certain degree, for sure, with marketing and everything there. Yeah, it's not good. They need to sell, I think, at least at the time I said around between 10 to 15 millions to try to make it even, because afterwards they're going to launch on Steam uh, 20 November 21st. And again, taking into account they will have to do some promotion, so some discounts on the game, and Steam takes 30% off. Again, I think more about the $50 million units sold to try and break even. And I think even with that, I don't think it will be enough, because again, they are very shady on Ubisoft with the sales figures and everything. And we do the math in a overall. I do the math in that sense that try to figure out a way of. Again, I'm not a guy of math, financial guy, or accountant guy, so I don't know how many money was spent on the developing, marketing, and all that jazz in this game, and how much they are doing with each copy as a raw number. But yeah, they need to sell a lot of copies here to try and break even with this game, which I don't think they were going to do. There was also, sorry, I forgot to put this one. I saw there was on this earnings call, if not mistaken, there was some numbers that were thrown out. Seems that the bulk of their revenue is the sales numbers were from the older games, not from these new launches. Around 75% or something like that in terms of revenue were from their own older games, not from these newer launches. So it sends it's given the impression that boycotting, let's say, or not buying bad games is doing its work, and they are getting especially Ubisoft is entering on a panic mode, especially with the upcoming game Assassin's Creed Shadows. But yeah, basically is the gist of what we have in here. And then there was again this conference call. BMO, I don't know if it is that smaller company that's making the pressure there inside of Ubisoft. I forgot the name of that company. They make the question of on Star Wars Outlaw, obviously off to a slower start than you guys wanted. Can you provide a little color into the sales curve there more recently? Have you guys started to see things pick up? Can you talk about any discounting you might be doing or strategies for discounting into holiday period will be helpful? Again, it talks around about that the title is already come out with free title updates when they smoothed out kinks and stuff. I don't know why. Again, there is a lot of focus on. I think Colin Moriarty put it well with Concord. Again, I think these companies are just developing the game until they reach the MVP status, which is in this case is minimal viable product, and then they launch it with all the hype behind it of the marketing teams, and then they fix the game after the game is launched. Basically, that's the what they see as return on investment, basically, which after this, if the huge amount of sales really generate more sales, and they see that okay, we can continue patching up this game, it will continue to sell. So at least we are making our money out of it. I think that there is this kind of mentality. At least it seems from Yves Guillemot response here, and again then it does refer to the November 21st fourth big update and the fact that it's coming to Steam in that time. And he also says that they are planning to do some promotional support throughout the busy season. Again, I will assume there will be like a discount on the game, especially on the higher editions or the most expensive edition of this game. And I think and on November 21st also is going to be the first story DLC. But yeah, basically they are in a shit show. Again, in here the article it refers a little bit on the Star Wars Outlaw in terms of Twitch stats. It tanked a lot, as you can see. In 2 months it just almost dropped down to almost zero. So nobody is streaming that much this game, so there is no interest in this game, which is very interesting. And they compare it also to what this game here, Star Wars Old Republic. Again, this is an older game, different numbers, less users on Steam. I don't know if it is kind of fair to compare it with this one, even though it's a Star Wars IP game, but and it's not even made by Ubisoft. So I think the comparison is not that fair, but it is what it is. This game is not selling well. I will assume, being generous, maybe sold 5 million units, and still not good enough for just for the marketing budget. I don't think it will cover that expenses. So that's that. And then lastly, we got again, this continues with the Assassin's Creed Shadows delay. Supposedly is costing extra to 20 million euros, which is should be around $23 million, give or take, just by delaying 10 February. Again, it again goes to the same excuses. They while the game is feature complete, the learnings of Star Wars Outlaw release provide us additional time to further polish the game. All the same kind of shenanigans here. Again, they try to make it seem that it's a good thing that they are going to release on Steam day one. Again, it's too late for them, even launching on Steam day one. Again, the story around the development around this game is it's really a shit show. Some backtracking, some fake excuses, then excusing that the historical accuracy experts came a little bit late to the again, a lot of shit excuses coming out of Ubisoft. And again, this same investor BMO on Assassin's Creed Shadows, you said that delayed the game. You keep saying it was a future ready. So I was curious, when you went through and looked at the game, were you guys finding bugs? Looking back, were you glad you moved it? And you think, and I think you talked about extra 20 million euros in development costs from doing this. How is that tracking? So at least I think $550 million at least for this in terms of costs for this game. So yeah, it's not good. Again, Guillermo responds with the same corporate talk, but he confirms that you were right. We had mentioned that would translate into about 20 million euros in the total budget, as we kept a strong level of resources on this last phase of development. And with about this 20 million euros, I think it has to do by the fact they're trying to do some, not major changes, but changes, big enough changes that need to justify an extra 20 million euros in resources, human resources, and all that jazz, just to try, I don't know, do some major revisions on certain parts of the game. We've been seeing some leaks that probably they're trying to tweak the story around the Black Samurai. I think they are doing a lot of work on the pointed architecture failures of that time period. Even in some videos you saw that even steps don't match with the doors, and there was a lot of things wrong just by common sense. You don't even need to know architecture or any kind of things regarding Japanese culture at the time. It's like common sense things that were not making any sense. Yeah, like fixing architecture details, ensuring that the game is historically grounding. Again, um, yeah, I think this 20 million euros is doing some overall changes. Again, they are not going to change Yasuke. It's too late for that. The it will be a huge blow if they try to backtrack that one. I think they're trying to massage as best they can to avoid even more backlash regarding this game here. And again, another studio that completely missed fire on a great opportunity and a very requested setting since the first Assassin's Creed, which was a Future Japan Assassin's Creed, which they disregarded as something very vanilla. And when they took the task of doing so, they just completely screwed up in almost every way possible. But yeah, this is what I got in terms of news. For today, we're just going to end up with some gaming deals. We got Mass Effect Legendary Edition, again, the original trilogy, with all the DLC, with improved visuals, 4K, and all that jazz. 85% off, which I think is a good deal here. We got Doom, 80% off, and then Doom Eternal, several editions here depending between 60 to 75% off. And I think there is, again, by Doom franchise bundle also. Then we got Dead Space Remake. Again, at this price point, I can, again, it's not a 10 out of 10 recommendation. It's as far as I know, even after I played the game, there is that traversal stuttering issue on this game from time to time. But other than that, for me, the game played very smooth. The only thing is when you near open to open doors and such, there from time to time there is like huge stutters. But other than that, the game plays very good. I really did enjoy the experience, with the exception only with the traversal stuttering. And I can kind of recommend this game at this price point. Again, I will assume it will only the discount will only increase in probably in a year from now. So I think it's not a bad price for the game itself. Then we got also Hogwarts Legacy, 70% off on the base game. Then we got Digital Deluxe Edition and that jazz, if you want to go about it. Then we got also Red Dead Redemption 2, 65% on the Ultimate Edition, which I think it got everything there. Then we got also Atomic Heart, got a demo here, if not sure if this game is for you, and it's around 60% in all the editions. And finally, we got the Meow Meow game, so Stray, 40% off, and we got some editions here. We got also an Annapurna Interactive collection, if you want to, if you're interested in the bundle itself, even though it's expensive like shit, 400 euros, it's too much. On GOG, we got Dredge, 40% off. We got Frostpunk, Game of the Year edition, CD management and all that jazz. Pretty good game from what I understand, and it's 78% off. And then finally we got the Bookwalker, Thief of Tales. Seems a pretty interesting game, turn-based combat, isometric view. I think the gist is you dive into the books, and it's kind of a story-driven with some puzzling and some combat there. Seems pretty interesting. The fact that you are a person that can basically enter in the world that it's written on that book. So it's interesting by itself. But yeah, this is what I got for you today, guys. I will just wrap up with a plug on my Patreon as usual for extra support. This extra support is in line for me to try and get a storage solution so I can get backups of stuff that I do for my clients. And of course, some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.